and just thank you all for taking the time to be here. I just want to also specifically recognize we have Alderman Rose, Alderman Shirelli, Alderman Beach, and I believe Alderman Hoffman was here, but I don't see her right this second. But first, I'll start by saying just a Sunday and a half ago, I was at this very podium telling the community that I am here to listen. And I want to say just a tremendous thank you to the individuals to my right and to my left for taking me up on that offer, but also holding me accountable to that offer. They have developed a format for community dialogue that makes me proud, and I think that should make the entire community proud. And I think we should all be supporting these leaders in our community to help us as a city advance a dialogue that's been long needed for decades in our city. I also want to recognize, and I believe the group would understand and appreciate this, this is one set of listening sessions in our community. We have tremendous organizations that for years have been working to root out racism and make us a more equitable and just community. And we all support other organizations, and I will personally support other organizations to have those dialogues throughout our city. I know that aldermen that are here today, as well as I know Alderman Thompson Kelly, have also organized listening sessions in our community, to which those will be published tomorrow. Myself, I'll be meeting with businesses and being at barbershops and in neighborhood associations and in church basements, all to hear from the community. My motto throughout this has been, I need to do a lot of listening, and that's truly listening. That's not talking, that is hearing voices and making sure that they are heard. I need to be educating myself to do better, and once I know better, we will, as a community, do better collectively, and we will act. So we need to listen, we need to learn, and we need to act as a city. I want to make sure that every single person in our community knows that the folks up here and myself and the city council, we're not the solution. Our entire community needs to come together right now so that we are all part of this solution. And we want everyone's voice to be heard throughout this process. Lastly, I do want to thank those who couldn't be up here with us today, who are going to be participating in these sessions. I want to thank the Fire and Police Commission for being willing and one, to serve on the Fire and Police Commission, but also to hear these stories that need to be heard. I also want to thank Chief O'Shea and the police department and his leadership team that have also agreed and are encouraged and excited to take part in these listening sessions, as this will be a continuation of their efforts to continue to engage our community. Once these listening sessions come to a close, that's when a lot of the really difficult work will take place for our community to act. I just want to say again, thank you to the individuals to my right, to my left, for their leadership, for them standing up. And I think something of note in my conversations with them thus far is they really don't want this to be about them. They want this to be about those voices for too long have went unheard. And I just want to say it's really humbling when you see citizens stand up and say, we see a wrong, we want to work together collaboratively towards a solution that benefits our entire community. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for the work that you're doing and the leadership that you've shown. So with that, I will turn it back over to the team.
We are a generation of leaders who have watched or read about the ways our predecessors for decades have peacefully marched, protested, and pled for equality and fair treatment. We have seen their peaceful efforts met with state-sanctioned violence and trauma. We are determined that our children will not have to ask again for equitable access to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness in a nation whose generational wealth was built on the backs of our ancestors through slave labor. We stand before you today as a group of people that organically came together to seek change and accountability. We are not currently a formalized organization, coalition, or any one individual looking to advance their personal platform. We stand as young, Black, concerned citizens taking collective action to establish transformative dialogue. We are here to work towards real objectives and real outcomes. Our Black brothers and sisters from all walks of life have been ignored, discounted, mistreated, and discarded. We will utilize our passion, backgrounds, collective energy, and unique positions to uplift the voices in this community that do not always have the opportunity to be heard. Next week, we will begin facilitating opportunities for Black community members to voice their experiences with local law enforcement. This is an opportunity for our community members to be heard and for local leadership to listen. We remain focused on developing long-term solutions, but our first step is building efficacy among the Black community and providing perspective to city leadership. We have been in communication with several other community organizations about these plans. Many strategies will be proposed throughout this process, and we welcome even more organizations to bring additional ideas forward. However, we will begin with listening sessions where members of the Black community can safely share their stories to key Rockford police officials and City of Rockford leadership.
The City of Rockford will provide a safe virtual space for members of the Black community to share their stories and encounters with the Rockford Police Department. We are referring to these as listening sessions. These sessions will include our Mayor, Tom McNamara, City of Rockford Alderman, and may also include Police Chief Dan O'Shea, members of the Fire and Police Commission, and other Rockford Police Department leadership from all 3 districts. Out of respect for the sensitivity of the stories being shared, these sessions between the leaders listed above and the individuals sharing their stories will be closed. However, we will be providing updates to the media throughout this process and in the event that certain sessions are open to the public and the media. Each session will consist of 3 to 5 voices that will be heard over the course of an hour. Each person will have approximately 10 minutes to tell their story. These sessions will continue based upon the number of submissions received over the coming weeks. These listening sessions, again, will begin virtually due to COVID-related restrictions, but we hope to be able to move to a mix of both in-person and virtual meetings as time goes on. Citizens will also have the opportunity to present a written story and having it read for them, if for whatever reason they don't feel comfortable speaking for themselves. These are solely listening sessions, as you have heard reiterated time and time again. We have asked our city leadership represented to only respond to the statements that they hear with a simple, "Thank you for sharing." That will not be the time for immediate response or rebuttal. Again, these sessions are about listening. As a follow-up to these listening sessions, we will collaborate with other community groups and individuals to continue to develop a list of policy recommendations that can enhance community policing strategies and lead to equitable outcomes and create a safer community for all. We look forward to working with City Council and other City of Rockford leadership with regard to the review and implementation of these proposed strategies. We also intend to work with other organizations moving forward in the process because we do recognize that this may highlight other areas for needs of improvement in terms of inequities amongst other departments within the city. We are open to that critique and we can proceed with that dialogue in the future. But right now, our focus is around community relations with the police. And with that, that's the call.
We will continually bring in Black community voices throughout this process. We will work with our community on the proposed solutions for the stories that the local leadership hears. We will connect our Black community members with resources to address trauma they may have experienced by the hands of the police. Our community will no longer accept empty promises, gestures, and actions that only appear progressive, but do not change the quality of life for Black people in Rockford. Our community will not accept further delays in bringing justice to the Black community of Rockford. Our community will hold Rockford leadership and government officials accountable until we see equitable treatment. And we expect sustained changes for the better of our community. Thank you.
The first of these sessions is scheduled for Thursday, June 18th from 1 to 2 p.m. Individuals who are interested in signing up for the events may go to tellyourstoryrockford.com, or they may send an email with a request to tellyourstoryrockford@gmail.com.